Hi everybody, I thought I'd record this video and provide business owners and bosses with some information that may be helpful for you in how to deal with sending employees home to not do any work during this time of staying at home, or if unfortunately you need to lay them off or terminate them because of what's happening with the huge slowdown in a lot of businesses. So as many of you know, I am a human resources consultant. I've spent about 19 years now in HR, mostly in California. So my information will be most specific to California pay practices. It may also be relevant in your state, in which case you should definitely consult somebody, an HR expert in your state. But this information is mostly for California-based business owners and bosses. So with the order that's in place for the state of California, Safer at Home, it makes sense that you would either send your employees home to work or send them at home and tell them not to work. But they are still your employees. They're still on your payroll. They are bona fide employees of your company, of your firm. So let's look at it in two different ways. First of all, salaried employees. Now, for salaried employees, the obligation there for the employer is to pay them, not based on the hours worked, but on the fact that they have worked at all. So what I mean by this is, if a salaried employee has done some work on one day, a half a day in a week, then you need to pay them for that whole week. If, for example, they're told to go home and not do any work, but they're expected to be on a conference call on Tuesday afternoon, then guess what? You need to pay them for that whole week. So think carefully about how you want to handle that. If you're telling your salary employees not to work, make it clear, put it in writing, and also ensure that they do not do any work and that you don't engage them to do any work. It may be the case where you want them to continue to work, in which case, great. Then you continue to pay them and they continue to work. Now, what if you have an hourly employee? Well, if you have an hourly paid employee, what's also called a non-exempt employee, if they're doing work at home and you're able to track hours that they're working, then by all means do that, because you should be paying them for all of their hours worked. You also still need to abide by the California state mandated meal break laws and the rest break laws as well. So basically by the 5th hour, you need to ensure that they take their 30-minute uninterrupted lunch break. And I know that sounds a little bit difficult, but guess what? You're still under obligation by the state in order to comply with that. Otherwise, you need to pay the employee the 1-hour penalty. And you know how it goes for rest breaks too. Those are paid, but they do need to have proper rest breaks during their workday. And if they do not get their rest breaks, then guess what? You need to pay them for that 1-hour penalty as well. So you can have as many as 2 hours of straight time pay in penalty to you as the business owner, as the business, that you would need to pay for every day that these rules are violated. So think carefully about how you will actually account for the meal and rest periods if you're sending hourly paid employees to work at home. Now, what if you tell the hourly employee not to work? Well, great. Does that mean that they don't get a paycheck? Well, they might be able to tap into paid sick leave. And so there are certain rules and requirements that are that kind of revolve around that. So if you take a look at the Department of Industrial Relations website, which is the state's version of the Department of Labor on the federal side, there is some verbiage in there that says that paid sick leave may be used for state mandated closures. So because of preventative reasons, what exactly we're under right now. So the employee may request to use it, or you as the employer may agree to use it. So the rules are a little bit unclear with that right now, but if it is dealing with an illness, then it's very likely that an employee can tap into the paid sick leave. Now, what if you are a salaried employee, or you're a boss that's sending your salaried employee home to work? Well, because they're salary paid, then they would be paid just because they're working. So if they work in any part of the week, whether it's a half day, whether it's an hour of being on a conference call, but they don't work for the rest of the week, then technically you should be paying them their salary. Now, what happens if you lay off your employees, you terminate your employees? Well, for both types of employees, you would pay them until the very last day of work, and you need to pay them their final paycheck. You need to also include in there any accrued vacation or any accrued PTO. What about sick pay? What about paid sick pay that they have on the books? No, you do not need to pay that. If there is a separate paid sick bank for an hourly employee or a salaried employee, then you do not need to pay that. But if you have a combined PTO pot, if you will, where you allowed employees to take vacation, take mental health days, take time off to attend a school play for their child, whatever the case may be, paid time off, then you need to pay them, these employees, in their last paycheck. And there are also certain notices that you need to provide to the terminated employee. So there's certain things that, certain documents that you need to provide to them that relates to their termination and the benefits that they receive. So I hope that's been helpful. That's kind of my small way in trying to help with the chaos that's going on right now. I hope that you all are safe and well, and I may record more videos like this and post them. So take care, everybody. Bye.